6 men attacked while conducting research.
And then he came up and started punching it.
World Wildlife Day celebrated at Nature Park.
Your local level to preserve our wildlife.
And near completion of road linking Hela and Southern Highlands.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. A Japanese consultant was among 6 others from the SIPA JICA team who were attacked at Varirata Park outside Port Moresby. The incident occurred yesterday while the officers were on duty following a memorandum of understanding for a birdwatching project. The officers claimed the attacker, believed to be a police officer on a drinking spree with his relatives, repeatedly assaulted them. The valuables were even destroyed while some were stolen.
He said he and 5 other colleagues were attacked while waiting for park rangers inside the security checkpoint. Among them was JICA consultant Yoshito Mochizuki, who suffered multiple bruises to his head.
They turned around from not far and then came back, and the driver came out and pointing at the SEPA guy. You are the one. Is this your land? And then he came up and started punching at him. And then the people at the back, the drunkard guys, all came out. They came in numbers. And they bashed him up, and also me.
Lati, who sustained cuts to his left cheek and right eye, tried to help his colleagues when another man punched his face from behind.
And they brought them up to Sokeri. But when Sokeri, we were there, they were about 5 of them, policemen, but most of them were a little bit old. So they can't deliberate the charges so quick because these guys were pressuring them. They even lined them up and said, okay, you pinpoint me, who was me, who punched you up? And you can't say this, you see. They were saying, was it me? That time I got a number plate and I sent a quick email to the office and also copied Dominic Kakas on the email. So by that time, like, it was an urgent one. We got a network with the Divine Word alumni as well. So I copied them, and like the police were quick in response.
The Central Command intervened in response to Lati's email with a reinforcement police unit who transferred the case to 17 Mile Police Station. The offenders are now locked up at Baroko Police Station awaiting court on Monday next week. Melissa Goviro, National EMTV News.
Disgruntled clan leaders of Lae's traditional landowners, the Ahi, gathered at the Tutumang car park this morning and handed over a petition to Moriba Governor Kelly Naru. The petition contained demands for the national government to pay them compensation and respond within 30 days. Much of Lae's top town and Erico area was built from land classified as administrative land taken in 1927 by colonial power. However, it was given back to the people in 1962 following a Supreme Court decision. In 1972, the national government retained ownership after taking the matter back to court, with the Supreme Court ruled in favor but have to pay 36 million kina in compensation to the Ahi. And today they're still waiting for payments that have raised frustrations.
So we decided now to start on provincial level with Governor Kerry Nalu, being our brother, member of Ahi too, so we decided that APEC sim go on that. And we've given the government now 30 days for the Prime Minister to come and at least talk to us and tell us that yes, he's going to pay us compensation. Suppose this plan no got. MIPLA declares no new development will take place on Lae City until we start to talk on compensation.
Today marked World Wildlife Day. The day was celebrated at the Nature Park in the nation's capital. The event included information sessions on wildlife conservation, animal education and awareness. Information stalls were set up by NGOs, corporate bodies and individuals.
Today's Wildlife Day brought together visitors and families within the nation's capital to celebrate the World Wildlife Day. They saw information stalls for young children and adults to ask questions about different animals and to learn more about how the wildlife conservation works and how people can contribute into conserving our natural wildlife environment. Manager of Port Moresby Nature Park, Michelle McGeorge, said today marked a very special day in the calendar for PNG.
A lot of what we're doing today is drawing attention to issues facing wildlife and what we can do to protect it. And there's lots of practical things that each and every one of us can do to help conserve PNG's wildlife.
She also said the aim for PNG now is ensuring that nature will remain and be around for generations to enjoy, and also to recognize the importance of wildlife. ExxonMobil representative Valentino Carmen spoke on behalf of ExxonMobil, stating that wildlife conservation should be our #1 priority in the country and should start practicing and protecting wild plants and animal species and their habitats.
From a community standpoint and what we do for the community, this is one example. This is one example supporting this World Wildlife Day to raise the awareness and also encourage residents, communities, what you can do at your local level to preserve our wildlife.
To celebrate the day with kids and their families, there were bouncing castles for the children, face painting, animal show, as well as displays of animals and items for general knowledge on wildlife conservation. Godwin Aki, National EMTV News.
A new set of regulations will bring back the reserved lists that will specify the type businesses foreign investors will operate in Papua New Guinea. Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister Richard Maru says the national government's intention is to pass this law this year. Mr. Maru says the law will support and grow existing businesses with the capacity to compete with global companies.
Foreign investors wishing to trade in Papua New Guinea will comply by the Trade Investment Law. Foreign investors will only operate large businesses, not less than 10 million kina. Small businesses like trade stores will be reserved strictly for Papua New Guineans.
We want foreign companies who have the expertise and the capital to come in and invest in priority sectors like agriculture, in tourism, and in all these other sectors which require a lot of money. And
the national government encourages foreign investors to the country. However, those who fail to comply will be dealt with under the law, and Papua New Guineans will be identified who can buy those businesses.
But one thing I want to make clear is that we cannot just go and tell our foreign friends to leave. We have to buy out those businesses and we have to pay the current rates in terms of value. We're going to do it in a civil manner, a mature manner.
Mr. Maru said the national government is adamant that with the trade investment law, local businesses will venture into a larger scale.
It's because we have never built and developed those companies 30 years ago, 40 years ago. We have to make a start somewhere. And this is about the start. And hopefully in the next 20, 30 years, our own PNG companies will be able to grow.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the trade investment law will support the SME policy. Papua New Guineans who want to venture into business will be supported. Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister Richard Maru has called on locals leasing businesses to foreigners to work with the national government to promote the SME policy.
All the shops that you are currently leasing to foreigners to do second-hand clothes and all of those shops, please, we appeal to you. Our Papua New Guineans can run these businesses. As soon as we make funding available, please work with our government, our provincial government and our districts to identify Papua New Guineans who can come in, and you should lease it to Papua New Guineans and not foreigners. Many of the foreigners who come, especially those running all the small businesses in the districts and in the rural areas, they do not pay VAT, they do not pay taxes, they don't even have bank accounts. These are people who are cheating our system, not paying the taxes which are due. The government needs to make money in order to provide for free school fees, for the roads, for all the infrastructure that we are building.
You're watching National EMTV News. Construction of missing road link between Hela and Southern Highlands provinces to create access for basic services. That and more after the break. Welcome back to the news. Leona Kilo from the autonomous region of Bougainville has been appointed to head Air Niugini's operations in the Solomon Islands. Leona has 32 years of exposure in sales and marketing, and with her new role, the primary focus is to develop and build networks within the region. Air Niugini's General Manager, Customers and Markets, Dominic Kaumu, said international exposure was important for grooming national managers, and it is encouraging to see a PNG woman taking up a managerial role overseas. Kilo will manage Air Niugini's sales office responsible for Solomon Islands, Fiji and Vanuatu. Missing links such as roads, jetties and airstrips are vital for rural areas in Papua New Guinea to receive services. One such road is the Hela Valley Road that will link Hela and Southern Highlands provinces. The construction began in 2013 for the 26-kilometer road, which is nearing its completion. The missing link will enable a total population of 50,000 people in 24 LLGs in the Lai Valley and Hiri areas to access government services.
The Hiri Lai Valley Road previously served as a colonial link between Hela and Southern Highlands provinces.
Along this the road corridor here, and we've already connected many people, and they're really happy and they really appreciate the national government for considering them and these people here. There's around 15 to 16, I think, council ward within this area. Up there is the border. That side it goes to Hela province, located within the Komamagarima electorate, and this side is within the Medimunu electorate. So there's a lot of people that are still within this area that has not been connected to the outside world.
The road will connect to Mendi Kandap Road when completed. The road is set to be completed by mid this year. Once completed, it will be the most economical route leading into the Heights gas fields, Hela province and Enga for the first time in history. Though the 40 million kina construction is nearing completion, they are awaiting the rest of the funding from the Department of Works. The contractor, Ipuan's Construction, said the workers have agreed to continue work. The company will provide food rations and fuel for the machines until funds become available. Last week, some workers were laid off, leaving only multi-skilled employees to continue cleaning and maintain earthworks. Marilyn Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
The 2018 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC Leaders Summit, will be delivered the Pacific way. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said this recently in an interview with international media. During his address at the Australian National Press Club in Canberra this week, Mr. O'Neill acknowledged the support received from Australia and New Zealand in helping PNG to strengthen its engagement in the Pacific and with APEC economies.
Mr. O'Neill said PNG's location in the region places the country in a good position to host APEC in 2018. He said the APEC Leaders Summit, which will be held in Port Moresby, will be truly a Pacific summit in terms of style.
APEC will be delivered in the Pacific way, as I stated to you at the speech today. We are not going to go and spend extravagant amounts of money just because world leaders are coming to PNG. We will do it the Pacific way. We will give you a Pacific shirt to wear rather than a business tie. So we want them to have the Pacific experience.
He said PNG is now engaging more deeply with members of the APEC community. As a developing nation in the region, O'Neill said PNG has a lot to learn from that engagement. He acknowledged the support of Australia and New Zealand in helping to strengthen PNG's engagement in the Pacific and with APEC communities. He said PNG has an evolving relationship with Australia. The Prime Minister said the focus of the relationship of both countries is not only aid-dependent, but is moving more towards trade and investment. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Politics in Papua New Guinea is no walk in the park. Sitting women members of parliament say the call for more women to enter politics has been heard one too many times. For current women in politics like Julie Soso and Delilah Gore, their stories are an inspiration for upcoming women leaders.
The 2012 election saw 3 women politicians elected to government. Lujaya Kuzo, member for Ley, Delilah Gore, member for Soho, and Papua New Guinea's first ever female elected governor, Julie Soso, governor for Eastern Highlands Province. The International Women's Forum held this week allowed Governor Soso and Soho member Delilah Gore to share their experience of running for election.
And courage to continue to, in that leadership, to challenge, not to challenge our men, but to take our position in the decision-making level. Then I will pass my message to this Provincial Council of Women The Italian group of women, I'm 150% sure I'm going to win the election.
They both touched on their inspirations, and it was one of the things they both shared. They both got their inspirations from their fathers, showing how important encouragement from men is for women running for elections. Present at the International Women's Forum was opposition leader Don Pollier, the leader also for Triumph Heritage Empowerment Party, who endorsed Julie Saucer in the 2012 election. He said that it was important for the PNG government to have more women politicians.
They're very important to leadership on the floor of Parliament, and I have seen the difference that women can make in political decision making. And the need is there for Papua New Guinea to elect more women into...
Adelaide Sirox Kari, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. Trukai Sports is up next. I'll have the details of today's NSL matches after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with the Telkom National Soccer League, and the Lae City Dwellers drew with former NSL champions Hekari United at Lae's Sir Ignatius Kilage Stadium this afternoon. Both teams displayed discipline in defense to deny any goals being scored from each other's attacking outfit. Both outfits have proved efficient throughout this season against other teams. MTV Lae spoke to Lae City Dwellers captain Raymond Gonemba and Hekari United coach Jerry Allen minutes after the game.
Boys, attack na defense domi play just improve big plus. Unlike last week against Raps, first 15-20 minutes attack domi play na. We play attack then defense and big play gap na one, but I think this week performance domi play really good low. Defensive domi play time of counter attack.
I expect them. It's going to be a hard game, but the boys managed to handle it well. Hopefully we'll go back and get organized again, and by people looking more again home.
Still on the NSL, and in Port Moresby, Rapotona was chasing a desperate win after 3 straight losses in the Telecom National Soccer League final trials. Rapotona got their redemption today after a tough encounter with Wilgris Morabe United at the Bissini Oval. Both teams were 0-0 in the first half, despite Rapotona's forwards countering attacks and goal attempts went begging. The second half saw Rapotona regroup, and in the 7th minute, Philip Stevens scored the only goal of the afternoon that gave Rapotona the win. The first Tri-Nation match saw PNG Peppers come out victorious over Singapore, defeating them 53-39. Both teams were evenly matched in the first 2 quarters, with scores locked at 20-all at half-time. The Peppers stepped up in the last few minutes of the third quarter to hit a 10-point difference. In the last quarter, the Peppers dominated. Singapore's defense slacked off to see the Peppers win their first match. And that ends Trukai Sports for today, but after the break, I'll bring you all the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region, Port Moresby, a shower or two with a top temperature of 33 degrees, a top of 32 for Daru and Popondetta with a shower or two, and a shower or two as well in Kerema with a top temperature of 33 degrees. In Alatau, it'll be 33 degrees and fine weather. To the Momase region, Lae and Wau, you can expect a shower or two, mostly fine in Madang with a top temperature of 33, and similar weather expected also in Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, some showers and a top of 30, a top of 32 for Kaveng with some showers. Fine weather in Kokopo and Rabaul, East New Britain Province with a top temperature of 33 degrees, a top of 32 and evening showers expected in Kimbe, and a top of 31 degrees and fine weather in Buka in the autonomous region of Bougainville. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, evening showers expected, a top of 26, A top temperature of 27 degrees in Goroka, Eastern Highlands Province, with evening showers, and evening showers expected as well in Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. And before we go, recapping our top stories. 6 men attacked while conducting research at the Varirata National Park. World Wildlife Day celebrated at Nature Park in Port Moresby, and the near completion of a road link that will link Hela and Southern Highlands provinces. And that ends National MTV News for today. On behalf of the news team, I'm Meribatulo. Pleasant viewing. Good night.